Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Fultz. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
It looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Doms, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Nice to go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham is the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. We're here at the Belgian Grand Prix round 9 of this season, and it is going to be a good one here at Spa. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second. Live here on YouTube. Drivers are starting to grid up. Let's run through the starting order. On pole, Flo Doms coming in as a fill-in driver for Antonio Bianchi in the 31. Jaden Calloway starting second. Ray Aguilar starts third. Nick Peterson starting fourth. Shaji Zuhair starting fifth. Michael Fairchild starting sixth. Ryan Tebow starting seventh. John Kasai starts eighth. Don Gerd starting ninth. Leo Delmas starting 10th. Ronald Mathot starting 11th. Peter Rettinger starting 12th. Cycling it on back, Jacob Bramley starting 13th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting 14th. Jace Meyer starting 15th. Xavier Zanave, the flying Frenchman, starts 16th. Alex Penn on a temporary setup starting 17th. Felipe Ramos starting 18th. Evan Alexander starts 19th. Ricardo Espino starting 20th. And Jeremy Barber starting 21st to round out the grid. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to take this thing green. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently be listening on a separate device during these shows. Looks like we're waiting on a couple more drivers to take to the grid. And here we go as the lights get ready to come on here at Spa. Keep an eye out, Flo Doms coming out of retirement in the pole position. And we are underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Let's see turn 1 if we're going to get the field through. Looks like a little bit of contact there. There goes around Aguilar. Aguilar pitched off track. Looks like Sean Gerd also going to get tied up in that one. So Doms is going to leave his teammate behind. Let's take a quick look, see what happened to Aguilar. It looked like there might have been a little wheel-to-wheel incident. That was the 37, got maybe a little bit loose. Maybe Aguilar tagged him. That was Jaden Calloway, and look at that as we talk about Calloway. Sends it 3 wide to take back over the second place position. It is an absolute freight train, second place back. Flo Doms on the loud pedal trying to break away from the rest of the field here. The draft very, very tough to get any sort of opening and pull away from these drivers, but Doms is making it happen. 1.3 seconds ahead of second place Jaden Calloway. We've got 18 laps for this feature event, 9 laps for the sprint. Looks in on Zuhair, the number 10 machine, up 1 spot, running 4th, chased by Michael Fairchild, Ryan Tebow, John Kasai, newcomer Leo Dalmas in the number 20, up 2 spots, now running 8th. We did get a crash report. Jeremy Barber was involved in some sort of incident in the number 60. Let's see what happens here. Right behind Alex Penn, way too hard goes Barber. And look at this pack of drivers. You've got Peterson, Zuhair, Fairchild, Tebow. Elbows out, trying to get things sorted. A big send from Fairchild. Tebow, was that Tebow? No, that was Zuhair. Gets pushed hard, shunted out of the way. Zuhair's going to fall back to 6th, maybe 7th as Kasai looks for an opening. Kasai hops out of line, looks to the inside through turn 1. Oh, a big lock up there from Kasai. And it is a massive draft pack. Now we're hearing from Sarkis that James P1 here, something that maybe Flo can't get official points. We're going to read into that. I know there was an announcement pushed out earlier for these drivers. And we did get a report via the announcement from what we're seeing from race control. Any points that Dom scores will count towards the team champion. His teammate would be, of course, Antonio Bianchi with Avanti Autosport, and will be accumulating points for himself, while Bianchi's points will be unaffected from the fill-in driver. Got a driver off track. I think that may have been Jace Meyer. No, it was somebody else here. We're trying to figure out who that is. And here's a good battle for 9th. Delmas and McAllister, 9th and 10th, separated by about a quarter of a second. A little bit further back, you can see Zanabe sitting 11th. He is up 4 positions. And oh, our broadcast software is lighting up from the off-track shenanigans. Good to have Sarkis in the spectator area. A shame we don't see that Brazilian driver out on track here tonight. One of those drivers that's been improving rapidly over the season. A great race here for 3rd. It's Peterson versus Fairchild. Now we saw Fairchild overcook that corner the lap prior. Zuhair not having too much of a bad luck. He is sitting 6th on the track. Well, look at this, Fairchild right in the draft. Let's go back. It looks like McAllister was able to take over that 9th place spot. Working the side draft against Delmas in the number 20. Delmas was a little bit out of sorts trying to stay in the draft of McAllister. Oh, they're side by side racing all over. You've got Fairchild and Peterson, Tebow and Zuhair, McAllister and Delmas all side by side here at Spa, and just nobody can quite break away with how heavy the draft is. Oh, that's tight. There's Zuhair up the inside line of Tebow. Takes over the 5th place spot. We can see Zuhair extending the track limits just a little bit there, trying to carry a little bit more speed. Another battle for looks to be 17th. That was Ricardo Espino. Putting a little bit of a gap there on Sean Gert. Gert had it within a 1/10 of a second, so showing good pace here. I believe that is the debut for the number 2 machine. And right off the back of Espino. Aguilar having to play catch up this whole race, makes his way around Felipe Ramos. Carrying a little bit of a wide line to gather as much speed as he can. Aguilar will have his sights set on Zanave. And Aguilar slicing and dicing up the field, a little bit of a lockup. There's a great 3-car battle for 5th. It's Tebow, Zuhair, and Kasai. Well, Kasai maybe side by side with Zuhair. It's going to be tight up the hill. Kasai sends it up the inside line. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Zuhair defending. And now we're going to see the draft come back into play. These guys have to be careful. Jacob Bramley, that number 6, has been improving each and every week. He's using the draft off of all those cars he wants in the mix here. Now, I know sometimes the drivers aren't a fan of the racing here at Spa, just not able to shake off anybody with the draft, but I've got to say, from a broadcaster and a spectator, I mean, how do you beat that? Almost 4 wide. That is Delmas, Redinger, Aguilar, Zanave. Ramos is right there as well. Looks like Ronald Mathot catching up in the 49. Let's see if we can get this angle that I'm looking for on board with Mathot's 49 machine. That is Ramos just ahead. And it is a freight train here. 4 laps into this 18-lap feature event. Got a little bit of back and forth here for 10th. Aguilar versus Delmas. Aguilar known for his aggressiveness, but oh no, why is Kasai off in the grass? Let's see what happened to the number 3, the propane man himself. He was racing with the 6 of, I believe, Jacob Bramley. Oh no, it's a solo incident for Kasai as he quickly pulls off the circuit to avoid tying up somebody else, possibly in his misfortune. Here's the battle for 5th, Tebow versus Zuhair. Oh, look at that shot. That is Peterson and Fairchild linked up, winged the gearbox. Fairchild hops out of the draft, gets back in the tow. Now, we haven't talked about him in a minute, but Flo Dom still out front, a second up over Jaden Calloway. While Calloway has pulled a 5-second advantage over Peterson and Fairchild, 3rd and 4th. We check in on Doms, your race leader, your pole setter. Calloway doing everything in his power to close that 7/10 gap to the 31. great shot. There's Callaway within a quarter of a second for the first time this race. He spent the entirety closing the gap up to Doms. These drivers first and second, that's exactly as they qualified as well. But now Callaway's going to have the draft to his advantage. Less than a half second. I think he's going to be able to pull up to the back of Doms. The question is Callaway going to race the 31? Or is he going to stay behind and see what he can figure out? Here we go. If Callaway's going to strike, this is going to be the opportunity. It looks like he's going to be happy hanging back behind the 31. Maybe knowing he has the pace, going to try and do a little bit of fuel saving. I mean, if we were expecting a pass, it was going to be right there, right then. So we might be seeing a little bit of a game of chess here at 160 miles an hour at the top speed these drivers are hitting with the draft. Both Doms and Callaway, both 159 miles an hour as their high speed working with each other. They're able to pull a full 4 or 5 miles an hour faster than drivers who are lapping by themselves. There's Penn putting the pressure on Mathot. So Alex Penn piloting that bright yellow number 30, running on a temporary setup, just moved into his new house today and said he is very, very uncomfortable with the driving position, but wanted to come out and give it a good college effort. Now with Penn being a part-time entry here at League Zero, I think he's going to be a little bit more careful on when he elects to try and make passes, especially against that 49. This is the first time I believe we've seen Ronald out on track. Behind Penn, you can see Felipe Ramos in the 73. He's going to try and use the double draft of the drivers in front of him. As Penn pulls out, they go too wide, punching a massive hole in the air for Ramos. Penn takes the position by about, just barely anything. Has the inside line. Mathot backs out of it very wisely. And Penn will take over that 13th place spot. Here's another good battle. Ray Aguilar continues to try and make moves here. Once again, side by side with Jacob Bramley. Let's see, is Aguilar, I would imagine Aguilar's not going to wait. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to go for it here. They're side by side, so Bramley will be set up for the first right-hander, and Bramley lifts a little bit, allowing Aguilar to take that spot. Aguilar's going to keep his head down, focusing now on McAllister, the world-famous Aussie. Oh no, problems for Nick Peterson. A huge off-track for the 24. Looks like it's going to be a solo incident. Oh, a little bit too much curbing, and unfortunately drills the wall with the left side. Peterson takes a tow back to pit road. He is done and out of this feature event. Hopefully we'll see him back out on track for the sprint to follow. Dom, still your race leader. Callaway right behind, a half second off the back wing of the 31. Now it seems to me, I'm almost positive, I think Callaway's just pacing Doms right now, seeing what he's doing. But as we go further back, it is a very heated battle for 13th. That's Mathot and Gerd, two newcomer teammates, battling against Felipe Ramos, the Brazilian pilot in the number 73 machine. for a first showing, doing very well here. Now, if one of these drivers is able to get up into 12th, a very important spot, that will be the pole position for the sprint, because don't forget it's an inverted top 12 grid. So if you finish 12th, you'll be in the top spot. If you finish first, where Dom's is currently sitting, you're going to be starting squarely back in what I like to call the meat grinder. So with these two being teammates, I'm not expecting the 49 of Mathot and the number 2 of Gerd to battle too tightly here. As I say that, they immediately go side by side, so the commentator's curse ringing true. As the two teammates get back in line, Gerd's gonna move up to 13. Oh, and there's problems out on track for McAllister. Oh, big problems. The field checks up. That was Jacob Bramley. Almost getting collected by the field here. Let's see what happened to that all yellow and black number 6. Almost, oh no, there was somebody else. McAllister spun in front. Bramley tries to avoid and is parked in a very precarious position. The field checks up for the local yellow. And poor Bramley got the short end of that transaction. There's going to be a freight train of drivers behind McAllister in the 25. I think both McAllister and Bramley are going to have to worry about overheated tires here, about pushing too hard. There's Delmas, Rettinger, Penn, Zanave all here in the fray. And as we touched on earlier, it's just about impossible to pull away when you've got a driver tucked in that draft behind you. Oh, a big blink from McAllister. Well, and a freight train. You're looking at 7th through about 13th place here. Felipe Ramos, John Kasai, Ricardo Espino all down pit road for a green flag stop. Oh, a little bit of contact there. I believe that may have been between Penn and possibly Bramley. Drivers, oh, too wide, too deep. You've got Gerd and Bramley side by side, Penn and Mathot side by side. So the two teammates both have a yellow car to their right. Bramley up into 10th. We saw somebody getting a little bit wild there. That was Ronald Mathot. We saw him a little bit out of sorts there in the 49. Oh, I think he was trying to avoid overcorrecting to the grass and swings it too hard the other way. The problems are multiplying for Bramley. It looks like he had an incident as well. Right, oh, a huge lockup. Oh, contact between Bramley and Mathot, the number 2. Surely driver's gonna have a little bit of damage after that exchange. Right now, Xavier Zanave, the flying Frenchman, in the hot seat. On the 12th place spot, makes it 11th. Can he hold on to it as he's battling with Sean Gerd? Zanave has the experience here at League Zero. But we are 10 laps in. The fuel window officially starting to close for these drivers. Nobody inside the top 15 has come down pit road yet. We check back in on race leader Flo Doms. And Doms has Callaway glued to the gearbox. Now these two are 9.5 seconds ahead of third place Michael Fairchild. If I had to imagine, Callaway's doing some fuel saving here, some tire saving. Knowing he's got the pace, Doms can't pull away. Now keep an eye out as well. Michael Fairchild, we pan back to the third place driver in the 88 machine, looking for his first podium of the season. His highest so far is a 5th. Now he does have 4 podiums to his name. The last one he had was at Okayama. He got back-to-back seconds of the night, but that was way back February 16th of this year. Current points leader Ray Aguilar sitting back in 6th. Here's a rematch between Bramley and Gerd for 12th. We talked about how important that position is. Oh, Gerd way off track there. Oh, and a bobble, a huge bobble from Bramley. Gerd takes the opportunity to come down pit road. Mathot in the 49. Trying to reel a little bit closer to Bramley. Not quite in the draft, but we've got a battle for the lead as well. Looked like Callaway showing a nose to Doms, trying to force a mistake. Majority of the drivers yet to come down pit road. 7 laps left to go here at Spa in the feature event. John Gerd rolls back out on track. Evan Alexander taking a little bit of an extended stay down pit road. Now I'm curious when the gloves are going to come off between these two. Flo Doms, your race leader, Jaden Callaway in second. They're almost 10 full seconds up over Fairchild, who's looking for his first podium so far this season. Historically, I would say about here is where we would see a final pass for the lead if this was the final lap. And I think that's what Callaway's doing right now, just taking a little bit of research, seeing where Doms is going, where he's quick, where maybe Callaway's a little bit faster. But these two drivers just in a league of their own. Michael Fairchild, Ryan Tebow, Shaziz Zuhair, all down pit road. Let's see, is Callaway going to try and take over the race lead, or is he content following Doms for a little while longer? Bottom of thought, Jacob Bramley, all down pit road. Zanave, Alex Penn also on pit road. Here's the battle for 5th between Delmas and Rettinger. The number 20 of Delmas, the 44 of Rettinger. Now is the top 6 drivers yet to box here. Rettinger hops out of line. Delmas is going to defend. Right now, 6 drivers have yet to box. That's Doms, Callaway, Aguilar, McAllister, Delmas, and Rettinger. We still have 19 of the 21 entries out on track here. Now I'm curious to see, will we see a safety car deployed in the sprint race? Because historically, it is a little bit spicy here at Spa. As Delmas pulls a half-second gap over Rettinger. Let's see, is Dom's gonna finally come down pit road with Callaway tucked in right behind him. Callaway's been able to save a little bit more fuel, I would imagine. Dom's down pit road. Callaway follows suit, stalking the number 31. I think Dom's was a little bit faster on pit entry here. Aguilar sitting now in third, also down pit road. You can see the retired number 24 of Peterson. McAllister joins the pit road party. Dom's in and out, 4.93. Callaway, 0.2 faster in his pit stall. Fairchild back up into third after these pit stops have shaken themselves out. Ryan Tebow fourth, Zuhair in fifth. 5 laps left to go here at Spa. Doms has a 1 second advantage over Callaway. A little bit further back, a ever persistent Ray Aguilar putting the pressure on Zuhair's number 10 machine. Aguilar's had good pace, but had that early incident that made this an uphill battle for the Little Debbie back 72. Zuhair staying right there in the draft. And Aguilar will put that machine a little bit higher in the standings, up into fifth. Nice little 3-car battle we have going on for 14th. That's Kasai, Espino, Mathot. Oh, and it's going to get a little bit exciting here as the 49 of Mathot thinks about going 3 wide. Wisely backs out of it. And Kasai is going to lose 2 positions there to Espino and Mathot. A lot of give and take here. Oh, and we got another crash report. This time it's Zanave, the flying Frenchman, has sparks shooting out the left side of the track. Let's see what happened here. Oh, loops it all on his own. And unfortunately tags the wall hard, and that number 12 is able to get it refired, but very late in the race. He's got to hope he doesn't have any damage. Meanwhile, it looks like Doms has wicked up the pace a little bit. Pulling a 1 second gap on Callaway. Callaway losing about, I want to say, 3 to 4 tenths that last lap. Despite Callaway having a little bit faster pit time, 2 tenths faster than Doms in his pit stall. And I think if Doms had anything left in the tank, he's going to use it all here. Callaway not quite able to close that draft. Oh, a big moment for Doms. The back end steps out. We said he was on the ragged edge, and did he just prove that for the fans at home? That has given Callaway a half second back in his favor. 4 tenths off the back to 31. This is going to put Callaway back in the draft. And now he doesn't have to work nearly as hard, able to use the draft off of Doms to pull him along here. Let's go back to this wild battle for 13th. Mathot, Espino, Kasai. Oh, hinting at 3 wide with Kasai in the middle. The 49, now it's Mathot's turn to lose 2 spots. Kasai very wide there, but set up well for the next corner. Espino's going to try and put the hammer down. He wants to get away from this action. Trying to see who that lockup was from. I think that was from Espino. Seems like certain drivers really overdriving their machines here tonight. Now Callaway, we saw in the live timing tower, the left side of your screen, closed the gap to less than a 1/10.5 behind Doms, but has yet to make a solid effort for the lead. Not wanting to show those cards too early. And unfortunately for Doms, he can't even really slow down the race pace here to have somebody try and distract Callaway. Fairchild 11.5 seconds back in this battle for the lead. Now let's see here what Callaway's gonna do. Staying tucked in behind Doms. Doms guards the inside of the track. Oh, are we gonna see a move for it here? No, Callaway backs out of it. Doms, that back end is stepping all out of shape. I don't know if Doms has much tire left here. Callaway keeping the pressure on. Doms seems like he's really fighting the car. I'm not sure if that's a brake bias issue or what may be going on there. Just a few short laps left in this feature event. Doms has pulled the gap back to his advantage about 6/10 over Callaway. The only other two close drivers out on track is going to be Ryan Tebow, Ray Aguilar. On board with Aguilar, the 72. He's definitely had an uphill battle all night long. He came into tonight as the points leader. But with Fitzsimmons and Sarkis second and third in points not making their way out tonight, Aguilar is still in a good points paying position. But that 72 machine has never been known for taking it easy. Oh, and right as we say that, Tebow goes around right in front of him. Hate to see that for Tebow, but man, what a beautiful crash for the number 27. Let's watch that one once more in the League Zero instant replay. Looks like he's just too hard on the brakes. I mean, Aguilar wasn't too terribly close here. And just pitches it around. Aguilar hard on the binders to avoid getting to the back of Tebow. And thankfully, no car-to-car contact. So Aguilar is going to shoot back up into fourth. His teammate Doms on camera once more. 9/10 ahead of Callaway. Is Doms, the fill-in driver, going to be able to pick up a win here? I believe, I'm fairly certain, this is the first race we've seen Dom at this season. Last time we saw this 31 out on track, February 9th at Hockenheimring. Dom has historically finished extremely well every time they're out at Spa. A third, a second, and a second for Flo Doms. So maybe looking to try and break that losing streak here at the Belgian Grand Prix. White flag will be out next time by. Doms and Callaway separated by just that 1 second. Callaway needs to find something left in the tank if he wants to close that gap. Now we've seen Doms fighting with the rear end of that car. Callaway closing the gap by about 2/10. Still not quite within striking distance. It seems to be that sweet spot is about 4/10 or less to really use the draft of the driver in front of you. The rest of the field fairly spread out at this point. You've got a Espino and Mathot may have a battle shaping up for 13th. Especially as Felipe Ramos. Oh no, Ramos has big problems in the 73. Falls back to 13th. Might make it 14th as here comes Ronald. Let's see what happened to that Inca Hot Sauce sponsored 73 machine. Looks like it's going to be a solo incident. Just way late on the brakes. Completely missed his mark. I've got to say, thankfully, it's been mostly solo car incidents here tonight, but the white flag is going to fly for Flo Doms. There's a little bit of traffic on the horizon. That looks to be 19th place Jeremy Barber in the 67. I don't think that Doms and Callaway are going to catch lap traffic here. Oh, and Callaway is in a tough spot. He's got to close a 1 second deficit if he wants a chance of a win here. Callaway doing everything he can. He's got a bunch of second place finishes, still looking for that first win here at League Zero. Now Callaway does need to play it smart here. He came into tonight 4th in points. What's more important to the driver of that 37? He's 7/10 off the back of Doms. He's racing with Squid Gang Racing. His teammate Sarkis unable to make it out here tonight. A half second back from Doms. And not a whole lot of track left. Callaway gets it within 4/10. Is he going to have enough time to try and make a move? It's going to be a big send into the chicane if we're going to see something. Callaway a 1/4 of a second back. Lifts very early. Doms is going to win here at Spa. Callaway brings it home second. What a great race between those two. And Fairchild will get his first career podium. Just ahead of Ray Aguilar. And I think Fairchild's going to have a little bit of fun with that first podium. Now your race leader, Doms and Callaway, they've already put it back in the virtual hauler. But some of the drivers are going to really enjoy the celebration shenanigans. There's Rettinger, there's Penn. Just dudes being guys here at League Zero. going to try and get these top 3 drivers up here to victory lane for a little celebration shenanigans. We're waiting on Doms, Callaway, and Fairchild. Got a few drivers finishing their laps. Never mind the car pirouetting across the screen. Evan Alexander, I believe. And that's going to put Jeremy Barber, the last driver out on track here before the results will be officially unofficial. Looks like every driver, bar 2, will finish this race. Every driver who's able to complete it stayed on the lead lap. Looks like we're starting to get drivers up here into victory lane. Up first, we're going to have Michael Fairchild, the 88. Michael, first career podium. I know it's been close so many times, but
many times.
Welcome to the top 3.
Finally. It's been like a big drought. It's like I'm in like an Alpha Tauri or something, like Pierre Gasly or Ocon and Alpine. It's been so long being on the podium that I'm sweating right now because what's his name? Ray was right behind me 2 seconds in the last lap thinking I was just cruising on in. And he catches up nearly a full second and more. I'm like, great, I have to defend here. But just enough to get that podium.
Well, Michael, it's been a long time coming for you. We've seen you get progressively faster and more consistent, but what's been the trick to starting to seeing you more often up here on the pointy end of the field?
I just need to be less aggressive in the braking zone, like driving too hard. Trying to be like deep on the brakes every single place. There's other braking methods I need to keep working on and carry more speed, because that's where when I've been looking at some telemetry, I just see that I'm slower in the corners and I'm just losing too much speed there.
Well, Michael, it's good to have you up here, that first career podium. I know you're pumped as well as the rest of the team, but before we let you sign off and celebrate, get ready for the sprint race, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen for you?
Shout out to my family for letting me race on Thursday nights. Shout out to this League Zero, and shout out to my dinner tonight, Home Run Inn Pizza, the best frozen pizza I've ever had, and of course, a Fanatec for my gear.
Awesome. Michael, always a pleasure, and hope to have you back up here more often, my friend.
Thank you.
That was Michael Fairchild bringing it home. And third, up next, Jaden Callaway. Jaden, once again, another second place to your name. Very consistent, but seemed like you just kind of ran out of time there at the end to get that first win you've been looking for.
Yeah, I think I had the pace to fight for the win today, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure penalties coming my way from the start, so I was really just trying to keep distance from the guys behind.
Well, it seemed like you were able to do that. You and Doms checked out from the rest of the field. Now, you still have a shot of redemption with this sprint race. With the feature being behind you, you've learned a few things. You've followed behind other drivers. Does that kind of change the strategy at all going to the sprint race, or are you going to stick to form here?
No, I'm just going to stick with the same strategy as always. Try to survive, make up a few positions, and hopefully get a good result.
Well, Jaden, we've watched you progress across the season. I mean, the results speak for themselves. Really improving pretty much you're out on track. So what's left to try and get that elusive win here, that first win here at League Zero?
I'm just going to stay consistent, and it'll come eventually.
Awesome, Jaden. Always a pleasure. Best of luck in the sprint, and looking forward to having you back up here.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Callaway bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the smooth-talking legend, Flo Doms. Welcome back out of retirement, my friend.
Hey, James. How's it going?
It is good. They bring you out as a ringer here for Spa, scoring some points for your team. And, man, you and Jaden put on a great show that race.
Yeah, kudos to Jaden. Like, his pace was amazing. He kept me on my toes all race long. There were moments where I broke the draft, but then I made a tiny mistake and he was right back in the draft. And the draft was really, really strong here tonight.
Now, Flo, speaking of mistakes, we saw that back end step out on you a few times. Was that a brake bias issue? Was that a overheating the tires issue, or what was causing that when we saw it?
You mean at the end of the camel straight?
There was a few times it almost seemed like you were having to catch the back end, and maybe you're just steering with the throttle. And I don't know anything up here from the broadcast booth, but looks like there was a couple moments you had out on track.
Yeah, the tires were falling off towards the end of the race. I didn't have much time for preparation. So I only did like 12 laps, like a full fuel stint and like 2 more qualifying laps, and that's it. So I didn't know how the car would behave towards the end of the stint, and I had to adjust my driving a little bit.
Well, it seemed like you learned very quickly as you were going. Now, you're a fill-in driver tonight for Avanti Autosport. Are we going to see that machine out on track more in the future now that you've got a taste of victory again?
Well, definitely in the sprint race. I don't know if Raymond or Antonio are missing any more races. I'm usually busy Thursday evenings. Today I was available. Next week I would be available as well. So let's see.
Awesome, Flo. It's a pleasure having you back up here, especially in the top spot of a feature event. Before I let you sign off, celebrate, and get ready for the sprint race, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make this win possible for you?
Well, definitely Ray and Antonio. Thanks for letting me drive here tonight. It was a lot of fun. I will be back.
Awesome, Flo. A pleasure. Best of luck, my friend.
Cheers, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Flo Doms bringing it home in the top spot here at the Spa feature event. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more action at League Zero as we prepare for the sprint race. Half the laps and twice the action. All right, race fans, we are back for the sprint race, the final race of the night. Drivers are finishing up their warm-up here. We got Shazi Zuhair, the number 10 machine, putting in some extra laps. And it's going to be 9 laps, no pit stop scheduled. And here we go to get ready. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inverted top 12. Felipe Ramos starting on pole. Jacob Bramley starts second. Alex Penn starting third. Leo Delma starting fourth. Peter Redinger starting fifth. Gareth McAllister starts sixth. Ryan Tebow starting seventh. Shazi Zuhair starting 8th, Ray Aguilar starting 9th, Michael Fairchild starts 10th, Jaden Calloway starting 11th, and Flo Doms will round out that inverted top 12 here. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here, the Belgian Grand Prix sprint race, but I can just about guarantee it is going to be all sorts of exciting. The grid is set. Looks like everybody's going to make it back out. 21 drivers. We get ready for the lights to come on. And we are underway. See a little bit of smoke at the back. Felipe Ramos is going to have his work cut out for him through turn 1. Looks like Alex Penn. A big send up the inside line, a defensive line. Right behind him, there's Leo Delmas. You can also see Gareth McAllister. Aguilar and Redinger side by side. I'm expecting a lot of aggressiveness out of Aguilar. Will we make it up unscathed? So far, so good. And what a busy racetrack here at Spa. We are side by side for the lead. Jacob Bramley, Felipe Ramos. Look at this. Here comes Alex Penn taking a peek up the inside line. So far, we've been incident-free. I don't know how. Up front, Jacob Bramley's got his head down. We're watching Leo Delmas, Ray Aguilar battling intently for the 4th place spot. Alex Penn using up all of the track and then 10 extra feet. And there is a meat grinder if I've ever seen one. Ryan Tebow trying to make that 27 machine 4 cars wide as he's trying to fend off Flo Doms, Michael Fairchild, Jaden Calloway. That is a lot of fast names in the fray. Oh, nobody has any room for mistakes here behind Tebow. They are all linked up, gearbox to wing. Up front, Alex Penn getting a little bit more comfortable. He's challenging Felipe Ramos in the battle for second. Oh, what just happened there? It is a parking lot in the chicane. I mean, from 3rd, 4th place back, everybody's linked up, no room to breathe. Jacob Bramley's got his head down. He's 2 seconds up over Alex Penn. Penn up 1 position, has taken the spot away from Felipe Ramos. Ramos staying in hot pursuit. Oh, 3 wide once more. Oh, and a big moment. That was, I believe, Delmas, excuse me. I think Aguilar also tied up in that one. Let's get that replay Delmas in his season debut, his career debut, just gets launched to orbit here. Trying to see what happened. Keep an eye out on the number 20 machine. Well, it looks like Aguilar comes over. And Delmas just a violent hit. But a spectacular crash here. So Delmas, Callaway, Peterson all out of this event. Aguilar was able to get back out on track, but for a night where he could maximize points, definitely not what he was looking for. Bramley, Penn, Ramos still your top three. Doms and McAllister rounding out the top five. Doms is up 8 positions so far, as he was at the 12th place spot with that inverted grid. Good racing here in the 5th place spot. Oh, we've got another incident reported with Ray Aguilar. No, Aguilar has to come down pit road. He needs repairs on that 72, so the night is going worse and worse for Aguilar. What just happened there? Peter Ranger with a wild off track. Able to hold on to it, I'm not sure how. Drivers are hitting speeds of 160 miles in this section of the raceway. Well, might have been a little bit of contact there between, I think that was Ranger and Zanave. In seasons past, we've seen massive collisions at that point of the circuit. Fairchild trying to fend off McAllister. Fairchild is up 5 spots from where he started in this sprint. Aguilar in pit road for a long time. I'm afraid we're not going to see that 72 machine back out on track here. And I'm not sure when this happened. Alex Penn has taken the spot for P1 against Jacob Bramley. Let's actually queue up a different one. Oh, it's going to be a big send up the inside line for Penn. Penn quickly gaining about 7/10 over Bramley. Bramley about a second ahead of Doms, who's worked his way back up into 3rd. Is Penn far enough ahead here to shake the draft of that number 6 machine, Jacob Bramley? Alex Penn in that number 30 Camelback race car has scored a podium, a single podium here at League Zero, but has yet to put it on the top spot. And it's going to be a big ask as Flo Dom sitting in 3rd, closing the gap to these top drivers. And really no room for mistake. You can see just how busy the track is. McAllister and Fairchild side by side for 5th. Fairchild will come back out on top, holding that position. Ryan Tebow looking for an opening. On board with Tebow, hops out of line, a massive send up the inside. Makes it work, Fairchild fires right back, now it's Tebow's turn. McAllister now back into 7th, loses the spot to Tebow. Dom's closing the gap to Bramley. A half-second separating the second and third place driver. I just heard somebody wad up a race car. That was Ryan Tebow. Side by side with McAllister. Oh, there's contact between the two. And Tebow just destroys that race car. McAllister, not far behind, has an incident of his own. Oh, the wing falls off. McAllister doesn't realize he doesn't have any downforce. He doesn't have a back of a car here. Oh, let's watch that one once more. McAllister gets clobbered. The McAllister loops the car, stays on the gas, and then just gets tagged. I couldn't quite see who hit him. But I think McAllister's going to try and limp it down pit road. He's fallen all the way back to 16th. Here we go, the battle for second. Now Penn, your race leader, has good pace. Penn's fastest clean lap was a 2:12.43. Dom's a 2:12 flat. Last time by, both drivers did 2 minute 11 second, 0.9 second lap times. But they were not counted as fast laps since they did have at least one off track between them. Bramley doing everything he can to fend off this second place spot. This bodes well for Penn. Get a report, McAllister did limp it onto pit road, but he is done and out of this one. Dom's doing everything he can to try and get around Bramley. Felipe Ramos sitting in fourth. He's about 8/10 back, still not quite within striking distance. On board with your feature event winner and third place driver currently, Flo Doms. While this is going on, Alex Penn has extended his lead to 2.5 seconds up over this battle for second. Here we go, Doms and Bramley side by side. Looks like Doms is gonna sneak into the second place spot. Now Felipe Ramos, I was gonna say wants a piece of it, has problems. Sends it a little bit too hard, falls back to fifth. Now Fairchild to move up to fourth. Just too hard on the gas for Ramos. And man, Fairchild had quite an exciting moment there. And puts down the fastest clean lap of the race, a 2:12 flat. Dom's last time by, a 2:13.13. Getting slowed down with that battle with Jacob Bramley. Another good battle for ninth. This is Ricardo Espino versus Xavier Zanave. The 9 is Espino, the 12 is Zanave. Side by side, 2 rows deep. That's Sean Gert, Ronald Mathot right behind. Oh, Espino way too deep. Zanave gets a free position there. Here comes Mathot in the 49. Sean Gert also trying to follow his teammate up towards the front. Just a few short laps left to go here in the sprint race. We're watching the two teammates 11th and 12th. Ronald and Sean trying to crawl a little bit farther forward. They got Xavier Zanave, Ricardo Espino just ahead. But keep an eye out. There's Jace Meyer, another newcomer in the 21, trying to show what he's got. Ooh, Meyer has connection issues. Espino has company from behind as he tries to hold on to the 10th place spot. Espino is up 4 positions. Right now, a hard charger on track though. John Kasai, the propane man, he's up 11 spots. Espino's got to be careful. He's got 2 teammates who are going to work the draft right behind him. Here we go. Denave tries to take a lunge. Slows the pace down. The 2 teammates nowhere to go behind. We are once again 2 wide, 2 deep, and a wild battle for just inside the top 10. It's Espino, Zenave, Mathot, and Gerd, as well as Jace Meyer still in this as well. Up front, it's still pinned 2.6 seconds up over Doms. Doms 1.8 over Jacob Bramley. Bramley looking for his first podium. He's definitely had pace in the past, but something has happened. Alex Penn, your race leader, snatches defeat from the jaws of victory, falls back to 4th with a huge solo car off track in the 30. Grabs too much curbing, and we've seen so many drivers have that exact same incident, and the problems are compounding for Alex Penn. Another off track to follow. Penn is going to have to fight tooth and nail to get back on the podium. Flo Doms easily moves up to 1st. Jacob Bramley now in 2nd. Fairchild in the final podium spot. So Penn is going to have an uphill battle if he wants to get up onto the podium. He's a half second back from Fairchild, but we've got to go back to the ever-developing battle for 9th with Espino, Mathot, Zenave, Meyer, Sean Gerd in the mix. Let's see if we can get an onboard from Gerd. A newcomer in the number 2. He's side by side with Meyer right now, I believe off the right side of this number 2 machine. Let's see if we see a big send from Meyer. We do up the inside, just ahead. You saw smoke with Zenave, and I believe that was Mathot as well. Alex Penn has very briefly worked his way up into 3rd as he battles with Michael Fairchild. Felipe Ramos, John Kasai having a battle for 5th. But we're going to stay on board here with Gerd for just a little while longer. Look how important the draft is here at Spa. Gerd hops out of formation, but he's going to be stuck behind. Oh no, we've got problems. Sean Gerd, Ronald Mathot, I think both involved in an incident. Let's watch this one once more, focusing on the 49 of Ronald. Does he get help here? No, locks up the brakes to avoid an incident ahead of him. I believe that was Felipe Ramos. Off track first. Mathot gets on the binders to try and avoid incident, gets tagged from behind. A shame that great racing got interrupted. We did get the report Alex Penn has moved back up into 3rd. Flo Dom still your race leader. Looks like barring any sort of incident, we'll be able to make it back-to-back in his return here at League Zero as a part-time driver filling in for Antonio Bianchi. We get a report. John Kasai, Ronald Mathot both take tows back to pit road. They'll be done and out of the sprint race. Fairchild just had his first podium in the feature, wants to make it back-to-back. Alex Penn is going to have something to say about it as the white flag is out here at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's Doms, Bramley, Penn, your top three. Fairchild still very much in the hunt. Shazi Zuhair will round out the top five. Penn and Fairchild side by side for that final podium spot. Both drivers leaning on each other here. Penn and Fairchild once again side by side. Fairchild has the inside line. Penn lifts early to try and go for the undercut. No luck. Fairchild defends. Fairchild really wants this back-to-back podium. Things are gelling well for the 88. I don't think Flo Doms can be touched here tonight, as he is in a different zip code. Flo Doms makes his way down the stretch into the chicane. And he's going to be able to make it back-to-back, barring an incident. Checkered flag will fly. And Doms brings home the win. Jacob Bramley will get second. And Fairchild will get his back-to-back podiums as well. Doms is going to enjoy the limelight here. Very well deserved. And well done again to Bramley and Fairchild, having career best here. We've got Fairchild. He knows the way now. And we're waiting on Jacob Bramley. Looks like the gang is all here. We're going to start things off with the 88 machine, Michael Fairchild.
I'm back.
I know, man. Looks like the hits keep coming up. Spa, everything meshed well. Everything's kind of just going your way here tonight.
All those who said I wasn't going to do it, well, I've done it. No, I'm just kidding. No, yes, I can't believe it. Spa's been really great for me today, so really hyped about these double P3s for me, and I haven't had that ever happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a night for the ages, and it seems like a little bit cleaner Spa race than we've seen in the past as well. Was that what it was like from your point of view behind the 88 wheel?
Yes, a lot of guys know that you touch a wheel, you get those side pods entangled, that you're going to be off, and you want to try to finish and fight another day. Me and Alex, I strategically let him get alongside me, knowing he was going to try to be safe along up a Rouge. That way you wouldn't have the draft. That way we go too wide that whole time. That's when it was the scariest, because you're in the Rouge going too wide.
Yeah, it seemed like definitely a game of cat and mouse here at the spot. I mean, generally, if you're battling for position, you don't want to be the driver in front. So how did you kind of set that up? Is that what you're saying, to take that line? Is that what kind of took away the option from Penn?
Yeah, going into turn one, I didn't fully throttle out. That way he can get a run to be right alongside me. That way not behind me up a Rouge. That way we can go even down that long straight. I forget what it's called, the Camel Straight. And then see who's going to be brave on the brakes into turn, 3, 4, up on the hill. And then look like I got the switch back on him. and just had to like send it and dive it in. And then towards the very last straight with the chicane, that's where I was like, okay, I'm better on the brakes here. So I felt confident there.
Well, hey, it definitely worked out very well for you. The first time back-to-back, first-time podiums. I know you're ecstatic. Mike, before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, who do you want to give a shout-out to that helped make it happen for you?
I'll shout out to Telemetry, VRS, Garage 65, or 61 rather, and this league, League Zero.
Well, hey, good to have you back, and hope this is the first time of many to come.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Michael Fairchild bringing it home in third. Up next, Jacob Bramley, probably the number 6 machine. Bramley, I know it's been a rough start since you started here at League Zero, but surely it feels great to finally have things kind of go your way and get up here inside the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, finally had a few things break my way, had a good solid drive, felt really good, felt like I was relatively on the pace. Didn't have too much practice coming in here before, but happy I could make the most of it, and luckily some people made some errors, and I capitalized on those.
Now, Jacob, as a relative newcomer here to the league and having a rough start to, let's call it growing pains, what's been the most beneficial thing to kind of get you up here towards the pointy end of the field over the last 4 or 5 weeks?
I think just trying to find the limit of the car. I think the first few times I was probably playing it a little too safe, and I know I also had some incidents coming through those. But last week in Hungary, I started to finally feel it come together a little bit. I started near the front for the sprint, had a good little start. Unfortunately, ended up crashing out of that, but just those experiences going at the front gives a little bit of confidence. And yeah, unfortunately had a little bit of an incident in the feature when I was around like P7, but we pieced it together for the sprint and couldn't be happier.
Jacob, it's good to have you up here for the first time. Hopefully that momentum carries forward in the future. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped bring home this first podium here at League Zero for you?
My boy Kyle Deckard from CRT, Camber Racing Team. Shout out to him. Big help. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Jacob, a pleasure, my friend, and hope to have you back up here in the coming weeks.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Jacob Bramley bringing it home in the second place spot for the first time. But look at this. Guess who's back? It's Flo Doms with the back-to-back wins here at Spa.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I have no words.
Flo, you've got to go into retirement more often because what a comeback story. Getting the call from Avanti Autosport saying, hey, we desperately need a driver. You kind of showing up last second, not a ton of seat time. You said in the feature event, I didn't have much experience with a long-run car, but here you are back-to-back in dominating fashion, no less.
Yeah, I didn't think I would survive this. Like lap 1 was so hectic. I was taking it so easy and didn't make up many positions, I don't think. And yeah, I really didn't think I would win the sprint race.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either, but it seemed like you were able to cut through traffic relatively quickly. A lot of newcomers here at League Zero, so was that kind of playing into your mindset on should I pass or should I wait?
Yeah, a few unfamiliar names, so I wasn't sure what to expect. So I took it extra easy and paid out. I don't think I would have won if Alex hadn't spun, but yeah, he made his life a little bit more difficult today.
That was a very polite way of putting it, but Flo, it's extremely awesome to have you back as a part-time driver filling in. I know it's ecstatic. It feels great for you as well, back-to-back wins, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs, my friend. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this triumphant return happen for you?
All right, Raymond and Antonio again. I'm going to give a shout out to you, James, and the whole crew, everybody at League Zero, and I hope to be back soon.
Awesome. Flo, a pleasure having you back, my friend, and best of luck on whatever your life takes you.
Thank you very much, and I can't forget about my boys at TLDR. Cheers.
Yes, wise man. All right, take it easy, Flo.
Take it easy.
And that was Flo Doms, an absolute dominant and triumphant return here at League Zero, the Belgian Grand Prix, where we see that number 31 driving as a fill-in for Antonio Bianchi, making it back-to-back wins. In the sprint, he was accompanied by Jacob Bramley, first-time podium finisher, and Michael Fairchild, who made it his first back-to-back podium here at League Zero. As always, I'm your host, James East, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting and LeagueZero.net. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and we look forward to having you back same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everybody.